Hello and welcome back. This is Insti and I'm continuing Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1. And yes, I have this fancy clothing on me because we are going to go a mansion. And apparently we have a nice little happening there. Yeah, that's the case, boo. Um, so I guess there's some kind of a costume party going on. At least I hope. The name is... Wait, what was the case's name? Sacrificial lamb. Well, I do hope that I'm not the lamb in the question, but let's see where we need to go. We need to go... Turquoise Lane across from Cordona Abbey in Northern Grand Surrey. So Northern Grand Surrey. And there's the Turquoise Lane. Uh, so is it this then? I think it is. Let's jump right here. So it would seem that I hopefully have done every last one of the side cases and side quests and whatever, except going to the bandit camps, which probably I'm not going to do anyway at all, because the fighting, although I'm accustomed to it and it's okay, but overall I don't really want to fight that much. But that's neither here nor there. Is this the place? Let's see. At least there's something happening here. Hello?
Welcome to the Manchios mansion.
Okay, so this is it then. So what are we doing here? Again, really eyes wide shut kind of a thing. We already had a little Easter egg towards that eyes wide shut with the O. But again, in the eyes wide shut, the last Kubrick film, there were weird mask scenes and whatnot.
Excuse me, just one question. Excuse me? What? I'm not sure I know.
Okay, so you're in a party, but you don't know. Well, whatever. Let's go inside. Yeah, this definitely feels like Ice Wide Shut.
Welcome, sir. I do hope you enjoy yourself.
Well, I probably will, because somebody will die. That would be the case. John, what do you think?
I think we deserve a rest.
We didn't even start yet.
Enjoy the evening, sir. There is still plenty of time before the grand finale.
All right.
And what would be the grand finale? Oh. Okay.
What if I write an article about these people here? Can you help me gather information about Cordona's elite?
Yes, definitely eyes wide shut. John, stop making fool of yourself.
My goodness, Sherlock, they made a blood fountain.
No, John, it's definitely not blood, just wine. Cahors, is it a guess?
Are you certain?
The wine vapours from here will be enough to get me tipsy. I hope.
Okay.
Do you know what was here before Manchiosa's family bought it?
Find out the eerie history of the mansion. Oh, great. Ancestral home? Nope. Magic circle? Mysterious disappearances? Ruins? No. Occultist? Before Manchio's family, the mansion was owned by an occultist architect. He dedicated his life to conducting a powerful ritual from the Forgotten Tomb. But the ordinary magic circles proved too weak for it. That was why he built this mansion. A keen eye might notice that its shape corresponds with certain magical symbols, and some walls have cavities. One day, the architect simply disappeared. An ash stain on the floor was all that remained. Perhaps he was successful in his endeavor.
That's what I like about this party. Bring me more dirt, Sherry.
What? Okay, John asked me to look for information that he might use to write an article not exploding, exposing a local elite. Yes, okay,
One
let's...
more piece, and I can expose these base hedonists.
Please, master, play us a
Do
tune.
not distract me. It's not easy to play blindfolded.
No, I guess it's not. Who do I need to listen? Who can I listen at all? Interesting paintings, yes. Oh, John.
Honey, you feeling lonely? I'll be your friend.
I bet you are.
Manchio's had to enforce the masks after the scandal.
Okay. Identity disclosure scandal. Cheating crew, maybe? Nope. Offended Duchess. Political crisis. Oh! Whoa, I was close. That was close. Yellow press. People described a scandal from a previous party. Vice Governor Cowden was found by his wife-to-be, by a Prussian duchess, in the company of a young man. Although the marriage was intended to be a political one, the emotions of the duchess were real. The incident instigated a political crisis between Cordona and Prussia. Although there were only few notes of protest, the governor fired his protégé.
I'll pin them down, this scoop. Thank you, Sherlock.
What happened there? Maybe I don't even want to know. So that's done. Let's see if I can find Vogel. Okay. Yes, what do we have here? Ooh, a library.
These medieval botany and chemistry books look even more satanic than the occult ones.
Yeah, I guess they do, yes.
Romantic poetry and prose. Someone's in touch with their feelings.
Unlike you, Sherlock, unlike you.
Codex Orchis. Why does this occult book sound like a flower?
It probably is flower. But anyways. Interesting. Can I enter here? Yes, I can, but let's see. What are you doing?
One of these books must open a secret passage. I know it.
I guess you could be correct.
Well-known and recent plays to keep up to date with the current trends.
Anything else? No, I can't see at least. So let's see what we have here. Can't really make... Can't really make off the text. Anyways. Can I enter here? No, it's locked. We will probably enter here later. So let's... Hello?
My husband thinks I am playing bridge here.
So you're not playing bridge here? So we can't play bridge here? What kind of party is this? I want to play games.
May I ask you something? I have nothing to hide, sir, but I've never heard of this.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I guess I'm in the right place.
Sherlock! Friend! I wasn't sure you'd come.
Werner, I see you are not yourself.
The more time you spend here in Cordona, the more I feel it my duty to bring you into our world and show you all we have to offer.
And what is on offer today?
Pleasure, indulgence, relief, and relaxation. You've earned some time for yourself, have you not?
Those who know me would say I'm incapable of it.
Nonsense. I refuse to believe there is anyone permitted to know Sherlock Holmes.
You may be right.
Then free yourself from inhibition and expectation. The night is young, and so are the guests. You should try to enjoy both. It's not healthy for handsome men to spend every night alone, and certainly not in a house filled with such melancholic memories.
I must admit, my travels have proven more taxing than expected. I'm less confident in my life and myself. Time of relaxation seems a distant dream.
So can I tempt you with a physical aid to your moral consolations? There's wine, of course, and something to smoke, or perhaps an artificial paradise? Yes, something more spiritual. A potentiator to sharpen the mind. A 7% solution of, well, that'd be telling, but you must try it.
Pointless.
My mind already operates at a far higher level than most. I struggle to believe anything could improve it. My ultimate duty is to provide the world with truth, and I do that perfectly well as is.
Duty? You've never cared about that before.
Of course I do. Exposing a lie, revealing a fact, that is a moral responsibility.
That's not morality. Morals are what happens afterwards when truth collides with consequence. Do you ever follow up on cases you solved? Do you ever see what happened next? Visit the victims? Ensure justice is served in the courts? And how do you choose where to direct your attention? Are there not deserving causes to which your brilliance could be applied but isn't?
You ascribe me more power than I possess. I have a narrow skill set and work within that mandate. What occurs afterward is irrelevant.
With every action or inaction, you place a finger on the scales of morality. Many in the city would see you as abdicating a responsibility.
I haven't.
Not me, of course. Morality is subjective, just like truth. There is little to be gained from indulging in it, and far better things to indulge in. Now I must insist on easing any burdens I've placed upon your shoulders. Show yourself a kindness, and try this rather delectable concoction.
Nah, I wouldn't need it.
I am perfectly capable of coping with myself without medical assistance.
Then I shall press you on it no further. But please do not refuse my gift. Take it with you as a souvenir of this special night.
Souvenir of what, exactly? But, all right, if only to put the matter to bed.
And now, our evening begins in earnest. I just remembered. I'm sorry, Sherlock. My mind's delightfully impaired. Please take this key. It opens the altar room, past the library.
Pardon? Altar room? What now, Werner?
Go quickly and find our Fabio. Only you can make him talk. I'll join you in a minute.
Okay. We have a key and we need to go. Okay. So it's right where I was. Okay. That sounded ominous. What is going on here and what's going to happen? Well.
My God, Was he here this whole time?
Well, good thing is, I guess we weren't the sacrificial lamb. Bad thing is, somebody else was, and my assessment about a murder was correct one. Oh, well, to be honest, that's not that hard to assess. After all, we are Sherlock Holmes in a party. You are inviting murder all the time, like I said earlier. Let's check what we have here before we check the body.
The herbs here are Salvia divinorum. They have a slight hallucinogenic effect to emphasize the ceremony.
Okay.
This elaborate box must be for the ritual dagger.
Yeah, it must be.
The ointment smells mouse-like. I presume it is an aphrodisiac prepared from a Spanish fly.
Oh, good. I hope that I was afraid it was made from mouse.
This oil has a slight aroma of flowers and olive.
Okay.
This one looks like a twisted symbol of Venus, drawn in a hurry. The sign reminds me of the astrological symbol for Mars.
These crime scenes always outdo my imagination.
Okay, let's see what we can find. Hit in the head.
A blunt force trauma may have suffered an internal hemorrhage.
Come on. Oh, sorry. Tattoo covers are marks.
This crude tattoo partially covers as slave branding.
Right.
This golden handle has a bloodstain on it. The dagger is heavy and sharp, but lacks balance.
And
The wound is deep. A precise strike reached the heart. This worm-like sigil has been drawn with his own blood.
what else? Are you...
The victim has clenched the fabric so firmly in his fist that it's nigh impossible to remove it. He died right here.
Okay. Let's activate this. We have circumstances of Fabio's death. Fabio died on the altar. Fabio was sacrificed on the altar during an occult ritual. Yes, it would seem like it most likely. Yes. So what do we have here? Oh, bloody John.
What
Scared
about
me.
a quick pillow fight?
I don't think we have time for that, John. We have a murderer on the loose.
The pitcher is empty, but with puddles around it.
So somebody used it to wash.
Blood clots are adhered to the sides of the drain.
So somebody cleaned himself. Or herself. After the murder. Which would make sense. Wet handprint.
Identical to the robes the guests are wearing.
So did he or she change the clothing? Well, there's quite a lot of blood on the murder scene, so if the perpetrator was wearing clothing like us, and obviously he got blood on his hand because there was blood on the handle, he probably wanted to change, so wouldn't seem like he was the killer.
Props, decorations, and tools for a more detailed set.
Maybe, I don't know. But definitely on hand there would be blood because there was a blood on the handle.
A useful tool for a disguise arsenal.
Okay, and a letter. Manchio's note. Don't ignore the guests, Matista, and stop boring them. They don't want to hear about your stupidities. They want to feel how beautiful they are and how generous you can be towards them. You are here to please and celebrate life. Remember, each quest paid a great deal to be with you, Mankios.
How can anyone accept such behaviour?
I don't really know.
This is a different ritual.
Ritual scenario. I found a scenario, some sort of a ritual with a remark written at the beginning. It says, read and rehearse this rite. Mankios. The naked woman lies on the altar on a bed of flowers, symbolizing Mother Gaia. The one who leads the ritual oils the body of the woman to awaken her inner fertility. Participants should chant at this moment and call for the man who can please Mother Gaia. Then the man who will impersonate the principle of life may come to engage in sexual congress with her. So I guess that was the original plan. Maybe.
Handcrafted and luxurious cufflinks. There's also a note. For my Fabio, Manchos.
Interesting.
The key is similar to the one that Vogel gave me.
F. Fabio.
The key is similar to the one that Vogel gave me. The capital F on the key fob might refer to Fabio.
It might, yes. And masks.
Would you recognise me in one of these? I suppose not.
Yes. Probably not. So is it? Yes, it's done. So I think I've checked everything in here.
Similar to the guests' robes, apart from the bloodstains.
So yes, somebody came here after murdering Fabio, cleaned himself or herself up from the blood, put his bloody robes in here, and grabbed a new pair. Makes absolutely sense. Do we have something on this side? No, I don't see anything. No. Yes, we have these. And circumstances of Fabio's death. Fabio key remains untouched. Okay.
These crime scenes always outdo my imagination.
I think I've studied quite a lot. So,
Werner, care to explain what is going on here?
On nights like these, it's not unusual for some attendees to get a little exuberant. It's part of the appeal. Unfortunately, it appears things have gotten out of hand. Yes, some are more prone to bend the rules of morality.
That's murder. I doubt there's anything left to bend. Why did you not tell me immediately? We were chatting about trivial matters for some time.
If I'm completely honest, Sherlock, I've consumed a rather potent cocktail of substances. My attention slips and drifts, but I'm glad I thought to call for you.
You sent me a disguise.
Oh dear, did I? Well, since I found the body, Mr. Manchios has agreed that you can investigate the matter. I promise my mind will behave itself going forward.
All right. Pull yourself together, Werner.
oh, interesting. So the murder had already happened, and Werner sent to me, which would make sense.
What is it about these nights that you were so eager to share with me?
Well, they're not always in the evenings, but they are in the shadows. People gather to test their boundaries in a safe and consensual atmosphere, often with more stains than your typical crime scene. But that is the point. Who are we to judge?
I suppose that's fair. What about today, then? Was anything different?
Well, I was invited as a special guest. It was supposed to be a time of both divine and carnal pleasures. A scratch for every unconventional itch.
I imagine you're reeling from your shattered expectations.
On the contrary, there is still spectacle, stimulation, and release, merely in a different form. I like to let life entertain me.
Or death.
So who is Mr. Manchios?
Mr. Manchios is the owner of the manor, yes?
And the host of Cordona's most memorable parties. He promises even the ugliest guest a partner for the night. And for the ones with more unconventional tastes, Mr. Manchios provides other services.
What a caring person.
You cannot begin to imagine.
No, I really can't. The police know nothing.
The police remain unaware of this tragic event?
Some of them may be hiding behind their masks. They conceal many things. But we didn't want the authorities to create more problems. Besides, after a few cocktails, their incompetence will have soared to new heights.
How do you know I even want the case?
I promised you relaxation. If there's one thing I know about you, Sherlock, it's that nothing soothes you more than a good mystery.
Well, when he's right, he's right. So how did you find the body?
How did you discover the body? In between guzzles of alcohol?
I was set to perform in a fecundity rite with Fabio and came to inquire further. It was a staged ritual where he was to play the principle of life.
And the rehearsal was unsuccessful?
Huh, who knows? I found him alone on the altar, his blood dripping to the floor.
And then?
Then I called Mr. Manchios. He was panicking, so I told him about you. We left the room and locked the door. Then we were
Filling time?
waiting for you was stressful. We indulged in some simple comforts. Overindulged, perhaps.
So, I'm guessing Werner Vogel is not guilty party here. But, well, it might change, but to be honest, I still believe that he is not, because if he is, why would he invite me?
Were you well acquainted with Fabio, the victim?
Everyone knew Fabio, or wanted to. His beauty was the talk of the island. Too handsome to go unnoticed. He was magnetic. Fat wallets fought for the privilege of having him. He offered the pleasures of performance, and more.
Okay, so about the ritual.
What about the fertility ritual? There was something about Fabio being a principle of life.
Fabio was supposed to portray the beauty of life's origin. Flowers, oil. Not this travesty that seems straight out the Inquisition.
So this ritual is not the fertility rite. What was it meant to look like?
It begins with a woman lying naked in a flower bed on the altar. She represents Gaia, the earth. As I cover her in oils, we chant for the principle. As our calls reach a climax, Fabio enters and copulates with her. After he finishes, I stab her with a dagger. That part's just pretend, of course.
But the intercourse is not?
I did not expect you to be such a prude. Are you a virgin? It is nothing to be ashamed of, but it would explain the color of your cheeks. The fertility rite marks the start of our festivities. The principle of life is beautiful, intimate, essential. It must not be stopped.
Yet it appears that someone did stop it. What about the naked woman? Can you tell me anything about her?
Oh yes, Matista. She's one of Fabio's compatriots and a performer too. I haven't seen her today, actually.
And was the room open?
When you discovered the body, was the door open?
No, it was locked. Oh, that reminds me. It's a minor detail, but the first time I came to speak to Fabio, I left without entering, having been unable to open the door.
You didn't have the key?
No, I had it. Don't look at me like that. I was mostly sober. I suspect there was a key in the other side of the door, blocking the lock.
That detail may very well be major, Werner. Well done. So you returned later only to find the lock was not blocked?
Correct. After an hour had passed, I tried again and was able to unlock the door. That's when I discovered poor, handsome Fabio.
Okay. The second performer hired to play in the ritual with Fabio was his partner Batista. Okay, and Mr. Manchios is the owner of the mansion and the organizer of the parties. So what do I want to do now? I really don't know. Probably go outside. So I'll make sure I have checked everything. Once over, yes. Well, that's an interesting painting. There are some devils behind the whatnot. Oh! Cigars.
Enough cigars to burn down the entire mansion.
Cigar. Anyways.
An open wound spoiled the carpet.
Okay, but it's not that much. It could be just something else. Unless the fight were here, somebody was hit. Come on. Up, there you are. Maybe Fabio was in here. There was an argument. Somebody hit him with the head, dragged him to the altar, and then stabbed him.
Why don't people tidy up after themselves?
That is a good question. But to be honest, it's good they don't. Oh, there's a bottle. Ah.
Blood. A sturdy bottle met a not so sturdy human.
Yes.
It didn't break only because it was unopened.
So, yes. Fabio and somebody else were here. Something happened. Somebody hit Fabio on the head. Dragged him to the altar. Stabbed him to death. Went to the back door. Took off his robes. Hit them because they were bloody. And...
The wounded person was here for some time. A bloody handprint on an armchair.
And...
A person leaned against the doorframe. They left a smudged trail of blood. There appear to be no further traces leading to the altar.
So, Sherry, do you have any ideas about the case?
Perhaps. I think I can deduce what happened here.
And then he cleaned himself and took up clean robes, maybe, yes. At least that's what I suspect. Let's see if I can get it right. What happened here then? That... Nope. Yep. Wait. Let's go with that, because obviously I don't know who did what. And there could have been even more. Oh, I guess that's the Fabio, so I don't think the Fabio locked the door. No? Yeah, yes. Nope. Maybe. Nope. With that, yes. No. Yes. I think I'm done.
The bottle was used as a weapon during a scuffle in the smoking lounge. Then, to ensure no one would interrupt, the murderer locked the door. The unconscious body of the victim was moved to the altar room. Once the body was on the altar, the murderer thrust the dagger into the victim's heart. Symbols were drawn with the blood. The wardrobe was used to hide the bloodied robe from anyone's eyes. The killer washed himself and took a clean robe from the hanger before leaving.
Are you all right? You're on the floor, not moving.
I think I know what happened here.
Okay, so let's see. What can we do? Fabio's key remains untouched. Murder cleaned herself. The altar room was locked and unlocked. Fabio was assaulted in the nearby room. Fabio was killed in a ritual murder. Ritual was a cover. I guess it's a cover. The murderer had a key to the altar room. Yes. Yep. So what do we have? It is clear that the murderer had a key. If I find out who had a key to the altar room, I'll shrink the circle of suspects. That is true.
I'm starting to put the pieces together.
Fabio was stabbed.
I see nothing gets past you, Werner. Yes, he was stabbed, but only after being knocked out in the next room and placed here. I do not yet know why.
So, who's responsible?
Well, it was one person working alone, and the murderer has now donned a robe. He or she could be hiding in plain sight. We have lost time, Werner, but your discretion may prove to be a benediction after all.
Let's start with this.
The murderer had to have access to this room. After the crime, he used his own key to lock the door. So, who had the key to the altar room?
I'm not sure. As a special guest, I was provided one by Mr. Manchios. He should be able to tell you of any others.
Where can I find him?
Most likely in the main hall, entertaining his guests. He has a mask with golden stars. You can't miss him. But please be discreet. We don't want to risk disturbing the revelry.
Can I not ask you anything more?
I know you can untangle this mess.
Okay, so what else did we get? Kurt Manchius should know who had the key to the altar room. Vogel told me he saw him in the hall. The man wears a mask with the golden stars and is most probably still nervous after the discovery of the body. Okay. So, anything else? I don't think we didn't unlock anything. So let's go and see what we can see. So we're done here for now. Stars. Come on. Sponsors an orphanage. Whiskey critic. Nope. Cat lover. Good to know. Come on. Flat Earth. Short-sighted. Obsessed with exorcism. Come on. Work. Has 4 children. How do we know that? Drains for bullfight. Allergic to seafood. This is actually interesting, but I would like to see who you are. Come on, work. Plays poker, sympathetic. Okay. It's quite dark in here. I'll try to see if I... Okay, we can't talk to them. Golden star and stars and is nervous. Let's cricket. He has golden stars. That much is true. Let's see if I don't think anyone else has golden stars. Well, he has. Come on. Thanks for bullfight. He had stars. I can't really make... Do you have stars? Oh, by the way, what about you? Tense and brittle. Okay, I think that...
Lord Manchios, I presume? I'm Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, you must be the one Werner told me about. What a sweet voice you have. It must belong to a handsome young man. Can I call you Sherlock?
As you wish, Mr. Manchios. Mr. Vogel asked me to help you. The body in the altar room requires answers, and quickly. I suspect the murderer to still be here.
What? Lower your voice. I don't want anyone to hear us.
And what about Fabio?
Did you know Fabio well?
People are starting to look at us, Sherlock. Change the subject. I can't believe what happened to him. To me. Such an atrocity. Think what it means for me. A wonderful evening for so many good, influential, and rich people has been ruined. I have betrayed all my promises of exotic delights.
I don't understand. Surely a murder would affect your reputation to a greater extent.
Please, isn't this why you are here? I thought you were a silent magician. Do your tricks and make it go away.
Wait, what?
I need to find all those who had the key to the altar room. As far as I know, Mr. Vogel, Fabio, and you had access to it. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. Also, Matista and Santos.
Santos? Who is that?
Santos Pinchetti, my major domo. In his opinion, at least.
So let's say Fabio and Vogel probably out, so we have 3.
I'd like to speak to Mr. Pinchetti and Matista. Do you have somewhere I might have a private conversation with them?
Of course, of course. Let me think. Matista is entertaining the guests somewhere, and Santos... Oh, yes. He will be busy with the servants. Or the cook. What's that noise? What's going on?
Okay.
Freeze, filth. You're under arrest.
Well, that ended the party, I would say. Yeah, definitely. Definitely ended the party in a low note, I would say. This is nice cinematography. Nice. I'm a party pooper.
Committed a crime, and now I have to free you, kiss your hand, and apologize for the inconvenience. Your Grace.
I did tell you that Mr. Vogel and I were innocent. I emphasized it in my statement.
Your statement? Thanks to some bigwigs who work for the so-called good of the country by releasing fleas like you. Thank God we have Vogel in his letter. Once I get to that goldfish, I'll...
Bigwig? Oh, my wretched brother Mycroft and his long nose.
Wait, did you say Mycroft? Mycroft Holmes? Are you the youngest son of Violet Holmes, rest her soul?
You knew my mother?
Not personally, no. Not exactly. I was working on the paperwork for that case.
Would you happen to remember anything of the events?
Well, I didn't make the inquiry, but I remember seeing some notes. Why?
Negotiate. Maybe I help them and they help me.
Perhaps we can negotiate. I could be quite useful.
Huh. Got you hooked, right? You know what? Stark and the others think they're the smartest here, thanks to you. Let me get this straight. Are you listening to me, lad?
I'm all ears.
Take this case. Report to me only, to Constable Harvey Oswald. I'll leave everything I have on this table. Find the murderer. Be a real copper. Question the suspects, make them sing, give me something substantial.
And if Mr. Vogel is not a suspect?
If he's innocent, then you can take your favourite degenerate away from here. If you slip or mess with the evidence, then trust me, your brother won't save you from my bludgeon. Meanwhile, I'll be checking the archive for you. If anybody asks, then you're a consulting detective.
Let's make a start then, partner.
I'm glad we managed to get the scoop before the raid.
Yes, good, good, good. The police arrested me during the raid on Manchia's mansion. Constable Oswald freed me. He said he can find the documents relating to my mother's death in exchange for help in solving this case. I agreed. Constable Oswald will be in the archive during my investigation. He left everything he has for the case on the table. Fabio received expensive cufflinks as a present from Manchius, yes. Vogel is under arrest since he is one of the primary suspects. Murder claimed themselves. Fabio was assaulted in the nearby room. Vincenti's major domo. Okay. I'll make a save here. Yes. Can I not change? No, I can't change my clothing. Let's see what we have. Witness deposition. I, Santos Pinchetti, am a witness who reports a suspicion of murder at Manchia's mansion in Grand Serai. During preparation for the social party, I heard loud noises from the closed altar room. Immediately I thought of the sacrifice of a living being overviewed by none other than Kurt Manchius. There was blood on the walls, strange symbols, and a dagger in the heart. As soon as I was able to think clearly, I rushed to the police station to report my findings. The station responded to the deposition by sending a patrol while the witness left the station and went home. So Santos Pinchetti informed the police, maybe? That still doesn't clear him, but maybe not. Following a report from witness of the satanic ritual who claimed to have found a body, the raid on the Manchia's mansion was granted. It resulted in the arrest of multiple suspects and dispersal of the group in masks and robes caught in acts of gross indecency and unnatural behavior. The body of the victim was found lying on an altar with a knife wound in his chest. The officers identified the victim, Fabio, 20, a local performer and artist. Arrested suspect, V. Vogel. Vogel had a letter of an insulting nature in his possession which had been written by the victim. He claims to have found the body. He is infamous for his eccentric personality. S. Holmes carried a murder weapon, a dagger with the victim's blood and other items of evidence. He was invited by another suspect, V. Vogel, presumably to obstruct the official investigation. K. Manchius, the owner of the mansion and organizer of the satanic party, paid the victim to participate in the ritual, had access to the crime scene. Matista, Fabio's partner and participant in the ritual, tried to escape, resisted arrest, owned a book with the description of the ritual performed in the altar room. Some of the guests are temporarily detained for the further questioning. Okay. Keys. Can I take keys? Come on.
Back on track to solve the case.
The provider of this ticket has permission to inspect all evidence on case number 6260. Okay. So now I need to talk to everyone. Obviously. 5 and 6. Pinchetti is a suspect who should be arrested and questioned. He had a key which he did not mention in his deposition. Okay. So let's go and question people, I think.
Look, I found Werner.
Well, let's talk to Werner first. If we can. Oh, he's right over here. Nice.
What a bunch of losers.
Werner, are you all right?
Oh, yes, yes. Everything's fine. In fact, it's something of a family reunion. My brother spent quite some time in this place himself.
You should not be here. I told the police everything I knew, but they refused to let you go. They require proof to free you.
Ha! What did you expect? The mighty Sherlock Holmes swans in, tells the officers what to think, and the world obeys?
Of course not. Anyway, I struck a deal with the constable, and I've got a free hand in the investigation. I find proof to solve the case for him. He obtains files about my mother's death for me.
Well done. If one has the power or will and can act, then one must. I wonder, suppose you couldn't get the proof to your truth. Would you tell a lie to the guard that enabled my freedom, knowing my innocence? Would that not be just?
Well, maybe I would lie for you.
I suppose that in the pursuit of justice, if truth was ineffectual, then one must resort to other means to achieve the outcome. I would do it.
Oh, Sherlock, that is sweet of you. Alas, if the police are after hard evidence, then I suppose neither truth nor lie would do.
That is absurd. I can resolve this without compromises. Do not give up hope.
Let's ask him about things. Santos.
I'm not supposed to know anything about this.
Okay, police
I
investigation.
can't follow you here. I can't follow you here.
Report.
I don't think I can tell you anything about this.
Witness deposition.
I have learned who told the police about the crime. It was Santos Pinchetti,
Do I know him?
the major domo of the manor. He cleans up after you.
Well, then he does his job perfectly. All but invisible. I couldn't tell you the first thing about him.
Okay, interesting. Do I want to... He has no idea who the man is. Do I need to go to the archives? I'll see if I can go outside, because I want to change my clothing also, but see how far I can go. Yes, I can change my clothing, so I will do that. Okay, can I... Ah, I can... Okay.
I've nothing to say about this.
Have you considered Mr. Santos Pinchetti as a suspect?
The snitch? Have you seen him? I mean, my breath could knock him down. What's so special about him?
As a major domo, he has keys that open all the rooms, including the one to the crime scene. Could have testified only to circumvent suspicion, don't you think? We need to question him.
Right. I'll send our men to fetch him. Stay here.
Oh, well.
They brought him in, Mr. Holmes. Here's the key to interrogation room number 7. Mr. Pinchetti didn't even resist, our men said.
Thank you.
Okay, so we...
You can question Mr. Pinchetti in the interrogation room.
Right. Evidence on case number... In the evidence room. Where's the evidence room? That's the inspector. Where is the evidence room? Chief Inspector. Ah, evidence room.
Good day. Your ticket, please, if you want me to help you.
So...
I'd like to check the evidence from this case.
And who are you?
Oswald sent me. I'm a consulting detective.
His partner, then? Let me see. Ah, a ritual murder. What a bunch of degenerates. Wait a second. I'll bring it to the table.
Okay, let's start from this. Oh. Syringe and something.
An emergency kit for boredom.
Okay. Letter from Fabio. The letter that was found in Vogel's evidence book. Is your mind unsound? You can't control your bitterness, not around me anyway. For me, it is too great a risk to ignore that kind of a behavior. I can be, speak, and play with anyone I choose. I'm not another Matista. You pay me, but you haven't bought me. Of course, I'll keep all your generous donations, even though they hardly compensate for your last terrible outburst. I am leaving you, although Matista will still be around. Interesting
Not
letter.
the time for privacy. Werner's personal sketchbook.
Okay.
It's a miracle this ruby hasn't tempted anyone.
It is indeed.
All the keys of the mansion on one golden ring. A heavily perfumed handkerchief with the initials KM in the corner.
Ah, Kurt. Okay.
A handcrafted charm that contains hair and nail clippings.
Okay, that's weird.
Her key to the altar room.
And
This ex libris belongs to Manchios Library.
ah,
That's not for bedtime reading.
The Power of Love, Blood and Mandrake. The police found this occult book in the Matista's bag during the arrest. According to Ex Libris, the tome was taken from Mr. Manchios' collection. It contains illustrations and descriptions of a ritual similar to the crime scene. Prepare the naked body of a recently deceased object of interest. Draw symbols of Mars and Venus to enhance the power you possess. To use the force of male and female nature. Pierce his heart with a golden dagger to be rid of the blood that does not love you. Draw a symbol representing your love. While waiting for the resurrection, recite the charm.
The book describes a ritual similar to the one performed in the altar room. Thank you, officer.
I'm more interested about the letter of the Fabio because he received some gifts. That book obviously points towards, I think, Matista. But that would be too convenient for my taste. But again, hard to say. Let's go and talk to Vogel, and maybe we can ask about the letter, which was quite odd. And of course then we have to interrogate the rest of the people. But let's start with Vogel first. Letter from Fabio. Why did he have it?
So, the police found a letter from Fabio in your pocket.
I cannot tell if it was truly in my pocket at all. Perhaps it was placed there later.
Well, that is one hypothesis. If it were true, then how did it get there?
No clue. But this night has been rather eccentric. Such a detail could have easily eluded me.
Indeed. Do you recall reading it?
I can't remember that either. But I tend to respect privacy. Reading others' personal notes is not one of my perversities.
Interesting. Yes, Vogel is helped because of the letter. Oh, I think I did that already. Well. Okay, I make a save here. So that's 8, 7. Who's in 7? Italian sympathetic, afraid to be judged.
Mr. Pinchetti, a pleasure to meet you. I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald.
I've already told him everything I know. I'm only a witness, sir. Everything's in my report.
And I've read it. You forgot to mention that you hold the keys to the room where Fabio was found. I need only to find if the crime was intentional.
But I need to return to my duties.
I doubt the house will fall without you, Mr. Pinchetti. Just be still for a few seconds.
So, let's observe. He's worried he wants to return to his service. Psoriasis or allergy. Ooh. Not nice. Repaired multiple times. Interesting. Colored more than once. Dyed textile. Stepped in blood. Well, he saw the body, so that would make sense. Terrible miser. Despite having enough money, Mr. Pinchetti... Where would... Yeah, miser Pinchetti spends little of its possible cheap makeup, hides imperfection on his body in an attempt to look more modern. Mr. Pinchetti has dyed his suit on several occasions to save even more money. The majordomo appears to have personally repaired multiple holes in the suit. Santos Pinchetti is the head servant at the Mancius mansion. Despite being employed at the highest position within the household, he appears to be poor. I'm guessing he has financial difficulties. Pinchetti is the head of the servant at the Mancius mansion. Despite being employed at the highest position within the household, he appears to be poor. His body shows symptoms of psoriasis. Mr. Pinchetti hides his damaged skin under the layers of makeup. The majordomo's suit had multiple holes that had been patched or sewn. And to renovate the suit's look, Mr. Pinchetti had dyed it. Stepped in blood. Well, that would work according to his statement, because he found the body, then ran straight to the police and told about it. So there's no contradiction with that, at least yet. So let's go with that.
You are the majordomo of a rich mansion, and you seem barely able to afford decent clothing. You hide, under heavy makeup, a skin disease that might be treated with more onerous but less harmful means. Do you have money troubles?
I do not have a lot of means. The pay is below what you might expect.
But you could easily change your job if your employer does not meet your elementary needs.
One can change his employer, that is true.
And the blood on your shoe, where does that come from?
I don't actually know. Perhaps from a guest?
Okay.
Did you know Fabio?
Not personally. He was a frequent guest, and cleaning the mess after his performances was tedious. Mr. Mancios always had a role for him, and mainly the leading one. The parties were always Fabio-centric.
Amatista? Was she as popular as her partner?
Don't tell her I said this, but I do not think so. Mr. Mancios hired her only because Fabio refused to work without her. Mr. Mancios used to see her as a worker. She was tasked with entertaining the guests, unlike Fabio, who could pick and choose.
Quite curious.
Please let me out.
Okay, what do we have here?
I recognize the key from the altar room among these.
Kurt Mancius' will and note. A small note attached to the will says, Santos, my hopeful slug, you begged me to include you in my will, so I did. Here's my latest revision of the will. Kurt. The text of the will under the note. Santos Pinchetti, the majordomo of the Mancius mansion, receives a jar of mustache wax and salt lamp that he might always remember his caring employer, Kurt Mancius. What a bastard. So, do you want to talk to me? Ah, okay. Let's start with
Mr.
this.
Mancios says that you begged him to be included in the heritage. Isn't that a little extreme, even for a majordomo?
He's not only my employer, he's my uncle. And I'm his next of kin. The only one. Mr. Mancios flatly refuses to pay a family member. All I have to do is repay his so-called love. cleaning up the filth after perverts and decadents. He's imprisoned me. The best I can hope for is a new broom. That's why I wanted to have my part of the inheritance.
Is it that bad? You have a roof above your head, a salary, and the status of a major domo.
For God's sake. I'm forced to dye and stitch my threadbare clothes, and the holes in my shoes are painful. I'm ashamed every time a guest looks at me closely.
Why do you think your uncle treats you this way?
My mother, my uncle's sister, had me illegitimately. She died, and I was given the surname of one of the maids.
But you are entitled to some of the money that belongs to your family.
He thinks not. I was not responsible for my mother's death. I work hard, and he pays me nothing. I feed on the leftovers. While he wastes our estate's property on decadent parties, he paid Fabio handsomely and showered him with expensive gifts for their disgusting relationship.
To be honest, I would more see Kurt killing... Well... What am I saying? I'm sorry. More seeing that the Major Domo would kill Kurt, Santos. And Santos probably would kill Kurt, more likely than anyone else. I'll continue connecting those in a little while. Let's see what we can, as we have 6. You must be... Matista, I think. Let's put this on and see what we can ask about her.
I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald. You are Matista, Fabio's friend.
This body, yes, it's Matista. But it's a mere shell that will die someday. Just like Fabio.
Let's go with condolences.
Please accept my condolences for your friend.
Thank you.
I'm just here to ask questions and find Fabio's murderer.
It will not bring Fabio back.
Condolences, yes. Observe. Oh, what do we have? Yep. Lord Phil bruises obtained recently. Tattoo. Primitive occult tattoo. Inks herself. Same marking as Fabio. Burn mark. Kurt. Inflicted with branding iron. Bitten nails. Nervous. Cut herself. Old and healing cuts. Self-inflicted. Rope marks. Shackle scars. Old and barely visible. Matista the perfumer and Fabio's partner has had a difficult life. She was branded and enslaved while still a child. While enslaved, she met Fabio, hence their similar branding. Old scars are the result of her slavery during adolescence. She continues to be haunted by these traumatic experiences. She has genuine interest in mysticism since she has tattooed her body with occult symbols. Matista tries to get over her past, and the life of a perfumer seems to be an opportunity for her to earn money. Matista the perfumer and Fabio's partner are difficult life. Enslaved, she met Fabio. Haunted by this traumatic experience. Matista seems to be pragmatic about her body after years of abuse. She sells herself to the guests who do whatever they want to her. She's not afraid to step over the line. Also, Matista marks her body with ink. No, punishes herself for the past seems more appropriate for the situation.
Fabio and yourself were slaves, am I correct? You have a similar branding on your body.
Yes. It was a long time ago.
Couldn't help but also notice fresh cuts upon your forearms.
The cuts helped me to forget my past, to cover the old wounds and hide them.
How did you escape?
Something happened. One night the master fell down the stairs. I made him fall, and he died. We ran away that day. We managed to get on a ship and traveled here, to Cordona. Fabio and I started a new life here. It was very hard at first, but it became better with time. Until today.
Okay, it wasn't good, sorry about that. Where did you get those bruises?
The bruises on your neck are not self-inflicted. Someone else made them.
Some guests can't contain themselves. They even bite, sometimes.
Okay, what can you tell me about this book?
This book, The Power of Love, Blood, and Mandrake, what do you hope to achieve?
To learn more about the invisible strengths that govern us. Occultism is real. The master who fell that night when Fabio and I escaped. I made him fall. I cast a spell on him and it worked.
Or was it a coincidence?
The universe is rarely so lazy.
If you say so.
I've nothing to add. I don't know what to say. I've nothing to add. I don't know what to say. I've nothing to say.
This is the letter the police found in Mr. Vogel's pocket. Fabio wrote it. Do you know anything about it?
I don't. Although I can feel Fabio's energy. It's there, but it refuses to let me analyze it.
Interesting. Wait a minute. So, you practice occultism.
Do you practice occult rituals?
For protection? For fortune? To wash away the ugliness of the world? Sometimes to survive. I have the gift, and I'm learning to use it better.
Did you use your gift on Fabio?
I only used white magic. Love charms lately. Fabio became so distant. I just wanted him to be with me, but I suppose I'm not as skilled as I thought.
Okay. Huh. I guess you are the last one.
Good day, Mr. Manchios. I am Constable Oswald's partner in this investigation.
Be quick and gentle. Some of your colleagues are untrained boors. Although I don't mind meeting young officers, the new blood here.
If you cooperate in finding Fabio's murderer, there will be no need to meet with the Boers again.
That voice. Werner's friend? You're the policeman. What a disappointment.
Only an undercover agent can scour a ditch full of deviants. I am a consulting detective, although I'm capable of replacing the entire department through my consultations.
Sharp-tongued, I like it. May I presume this tongue will get us out of this trouble? I would be so indebted and glad to repay you.
Nothing's changed. I'm looking for the murderer. That's the only way to get us out of trouble.
But it shouldn't take much time, correct? We're all busy after all.
I need to examine you first.
Okay. Where's makeup? What's there? Rash from exposure to hair dye. So he wears makeup and dyes his hair, okay? Washed hands in a hurry. Soap under fingernails. Interesting. Okay. Quality polished leather. Lavishly expensive. Stickler for cleanliness. Kurt Manchius is extremely rich, eccentric and frivolous. He is the organizer of the parties of Cordona's elite and the owner of the Manchius mansion. He spends his life in the company of similarly overprivileged people. However, his being sociable in this manner has made him cautious regarding his health. He uses chemicals and hair dye to clean and improve himself to the extent that it damages his skin. Hides his age. Rich, elite spends life. However, Mr. Manchius wishes to hide his true age from the younger participants of his parties. He is concerned with the aging to the point where he uses makeup and hair dye to look younger. That seems more appropriate combined with what he's saying, so let's go with that.
You are a little over the top with your use of makeup, Mr. Manchios. Is it so difficult for you to acknowledge your age?
Well, Sherlock, that's easy for you to say to an old man when you look as though you are barely 15.
But still, it shouldn't be an issue for someone of your status.
For people of my age, it isn't an issue, no. But the younger ones can be so afraid of wrinkles and grey flecks. I have to adapt.
Such a methodical man who cares for his body but misses the soap under his fingernails. Are you so impatient, or perhaps even impulsive?
I wouldn't call myself that. Silly little details. If I missed it, it wasn't important. Or rather, it was less important than who or what I was focused on.
Okay. What was Fabio like?
What was Fabio like? His personality, his habits? Anything you can tell me?
He was the brightest star of my parties. Young, magnetic, and full of energy. I don't even want to mention his beauty. Otherwise, I'll be sobbing.
An expensive champion, I imagine.
His performances were flawless. He deserved his payment. Do you think he was murdered because of money?
Possibly. What about the other guests? Were they used to opening their wallets as well?
I wouldn't restrict my guests from anything. I'm sure Fabio received a few coins from others for his services.
Mr. Vogel told me a little about your parties, but I would like to know more directly from you.
I'm all yours, Sherlock. You have me arrested and locked here with you alone.
Okay.
Why did you invite Mr. Vogel as your special guest?
He's a pretty fellow. He's capable of surprising the public. He has a talent for saying words that no one else would wish to either say or hear.
I suppose I can't argue with that.
He is a free addition to the eccentricity of the party, which is fine by me, as long as it enhances my party.
And whom do you invite?
I'd like to know who you usually invite to your parties.
Free minds who are able to leave reality for an evening, who can taste forbidden fruit without prejudice. There is nothing that quite spices up life like these parties, assuming one is old enough and has worked many years for the good of one's country.
Oh, all true labourers, I see.
Okay. Matista.
You'd better ask someone else.
Lord of Mandrake.
Do you recognize this book? Could Matista have borrowed it from your library?
She didn't ask me. How ungrateful.
The things described in the book were inspiration for the rituals you performed?
Do you really believe that blood, symbols, and incantations can resurrect the dead? They are just eerie tales with a mix of occultism and voodoo. My rituals are a stage to show some of the forbidden pleasures.
Right.
I've no idea about that. You'd better ask someone else.
Will.
I've read the letter about your will. A harsh method of ridiculing Santos. I doubt he will use mustache wax when he wears no mustache to begin with.
Where did you get it? Is the slug here? Tell him I shouldn't have to provide for him. He's a grown man who shouldn't sit on his uncle's neck. He conceives himself as my only heir.
And who is he to you?
He's a leech on my aging body. He has only added problems to my life since the death of his mother.
I fail to see why you made him your major domo.
He needed to know his place, so I taught him.
Really? Very curious.
I've read this letter from Fabio. It had no addressee, but it was found in Mr. Vogel's pocket.
Werner? Strange. I didn't think the two of them corresponded.
I'm sure there is some explanation. Would you care to read it?
Call me superstitious, but I don't care to read a letter from a dead man.
Right.
Do you have any idea who tipped off the police to raid your mansion, Mr. Manchios?
Of course. It was you. I could even say you Sherlocked me in here.
A good guess, but the wrong one. The fellow who did that was Mr. Pinchetti, your major domo.
What? Santos? But how could he even know? If he's not the murderer himself. The ungrateful swine. He has dared to besmirch my reputation.
Not a very eloquent choice of words.
What should I call him then, since he's a snitch? Make him talk, Sherlock. I'm quite certain he knows more about the murder than he has told the police.
Okay. You're not really worried about the murder.
You bought an expensive pair of cufflinks for Fabio. Were they his price? Or were they a tip for an exclusive show?
It was pure business. Fabio escorted me a few times. I was merely showing my gratitude.
This pair cost a small fortune. You must be extremely grateful then. Tell me more.
You've thrust a knife in an exposed nerve, Sherlock. Yes, he was my protégé and my beacon also. With my experience and his beauty, we could have achieved anything. I had faith in him. I would have made him.
Well, what an interesting turn of events. I don't know how far this will continue. We probably need to question a little bit. We need to do mind plays, but yeah. I know this is annoying to end this episode on this part, but I think this is the best part to end because I have some things to do soonish. Well, not soonish, but yeah. And I have no idea how long this will continue, so I don't think I want to... Well, I think this is the best part to end. I had hoped to end after the party, but yeah, what happened is that I needed to continue a little bit further. Anyways, on next episode we are continuing with the Mind Palace, maybe more questioning, and finally deducing what happened. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you next time. Until then, goodbye.